I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD. And Vice President JD Vance. I do.
So, Erika Kirk made an emotional return to the public stage 7 weeks after her husband Charlie Kirk's unaliving at Utah Valley University. But the event at the University of Mississippi quickly shifted from tribute to controversy after a moment between Erika and U.S. Vice President JD Vance went viral online. Apparently, the hug they shared was a little too intimate, with Erika running her fingers through JD's hair. And now, people are speculating that JD Vance is going to divorce his Hindu wife, using the excuse that she refused to convert to Christianity. And then he's going to try to run for president with his new wife, Erika. I mean, this is going to be a plot twist we never saw coming. But how about we just get into breaking it down?
Most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Now, y'all know that Erika has faced backlash for returning quickly to work and assuming her new position as CEO of Turning Point USA shortly after what happened to her husband, with critics online accusing her of moving on too soon. However, it really shouldn't come as a surprise that Erika is taking over from her husband, because since they got married, Erika has been highly visible alongside Kirk in pushing his far-right ideology. She also shared values, especially concerning marriage and family planning, and Erika has always been pretty open about her beliefs. For instance, during a January 2025 appearance on the Sage Steele show, she spoke about being the submissive partner within their marriage.
He's not the master and you're the slave. That's not how marriage works. A lot of people forget to read the Bible verse after that where it says, husbands, love your wife like Christ loves the church. And that's where it's that healthy balance of I love submitting to Charlie because he's a phenomenal leader, and the way that he loves me melts me to want to be able to help. How can I help you? I mean, every single morning I ask him and he asks me, how can I be praying for you? How can I make your day better? And I ask him at the end of that, what can I do so that when you come home at the end of the night, what do you need at home? What do you want to eat? Obviously, okay, whatever. Some people are like, women on the kitchen, whatever. No, do I cook every night? No, but do I? Yeah, whatever. But how can I help make, when you come home, how can we make the landing pad a little bit softer? So it's just that, I don't know. And I love that he spoke out. I love that you're speaking out. It's special that people are rising up and being like, you know what, life's short. This is the truth, and I'm going to speak it.
What people probably did not anticipate is that she would move on almost immediately after her husband's death. And guys are convinced that she's got her eyes on Vice President JD Vance after what people called a very public, intimate hug. What happened was that while she was addressing nearly 10,000 students at the Turning Point USA event, Erika spoke about faith, courage, and resilience after loss, saying that when the team asked her dear friend, Vice President JD Vance, to speak, she prayed on it because it's an emotional day. She even said that she could hear Charlie's voice urging her to reclaim that territory. But it was her next sentence that raised eyebrows. She said, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see some similarities with my husband in JD." As if that wasn't enough, as JD Vance joined her on stage, Erika embraced him, and in the brief moment captured from multiple angles, her hand resting in Vance's hair during the hug, that set off a storm of speculation on social media, with many calling the gesture intimate and unusual for a public event. Baby! People online are out here debating like it's a courtroom, asking, was it innocent grief and friendship, or was there a bit of spark in that touch? Either way, that hand-in-hair move has officially become the moment everyone's talking about, and people are really starting to ask the big question. Was this the first time Erika and JD shared that kind of chemistry, or has there been something between them all along? The way she spoke about him so warmly, the emotional tone, that lingering hug, folks online are convinced there's history there, or at least there will be something soon. It also doesn't help that there have been rumors claiming that JD plans to divorce his wife because she won't convert to Christianity. And guess what? During the hug incident, Vance's wife, Usha Chilukuri Vance, was also present at the event. And later in the evening, JD addressed a separate question about their interfaith marriage and noted that he converted to Catholicism while his wife was raised Hindu, but he wishes she would convert. He said, "Most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. Do I hope she's someday moved by it? Yeah, honestly, I do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way." Well, to a lot of people, it's the fact that they've had to address this issue a few times in the past.
Tell me about y'all's faith.
I had never been baptized. Even though I was raised Christian, I'd never been baptized. So I was baptized the first time in 2018, I think. It's funny, Usha was not raised Christian, is actually not Christian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I remember when I started to re-engage with my own faith, Usha was like very supportive.
Usha, why were you so supportive?
There are a few different reasons. One is that I did grow up in a religious household. My parents are Hindu, and that was one of the things that made them such good parents, that make them really very good people. And so I think I've seen the power of that in my own life. And I knew that JD was searching for something. This just felt right for him.
How do y'all merge two different faiths while still raising your children?
There are a lot of things that we just agree on, I think, especially when it comes to family life, how to raise our kids. And so I think the answer really is we just talk a lot.
So, you see how people would jump into conclusions over that moment with Erika? Honey, and you know what made this moment even more scandalous? The fact that people have been suspecting that Erika possibly knows what happened to Charlie, and that's why she's moved on too fast. I mean, for starters, there's a viral theory claiming that Erika Kirk got $350,000 money transfer weeks before Charlie Kirk's death and met two people soon after. Then, allegedly, the company from which the alleged money transfer was made reportedly vanished just 4 days after Kirk was unalived. Then there's how she gave a speech soon after her husband died, and people were out here claiming that the speech was just sus.
To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it.
In addition, there's what Candace Owens has been saying about the incident and Erika's mannerism. First of all, Candace mocked how Erika Kirk was doing photo shoots right after Charlie died, and Erika actually responded by saying that there's no blueprint to grief. In her words, there is no linear blueprint for grief. One day you're collapsed on the floor crying out the name Jesus in between labored breaths. The next, you're playing with your children in the living room, surrounded by family photos, and feeling a rush of something you can only attempt to define as divinely planted and bittersweet joy as a smile breaks through on your face. They say time heals, but love doesn't ask to be healed. Love asks to be remembered. It's humbling to realize that this magnitude of suffering didn't steal my love for my husband. It amplified it. It crystallized it. Well, Candace also insinuated that Erika may have known what was going on behind the scenes when she started exposing what she thinks happened to Kirk. For reference, she'd posted alleged leaked text messages and screenshots that she said came from people close to Kirk, arguing those show donor friction, and that donors pulled funding after Kirk's comments about Israel. Apparently, Charlie was discussing Jewish donors pulling funding over his links to Tucker Carlson, and based on the screenshot, Kirk said that he had lost a $2 million donation from a Jewish donor over his refusal to disinvite the conservative commentator Tucker Carlson from his America Fest.
Others knew that Charlie was done with Israel, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
She then accused federal investigators of withholding information or not being fully transparent and framing parts of the official response as a cover-up.
Very much, and maybe this is a poor way of saying it, a straight said, yes, I have a training. And I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with and knows and helps to train people in that sort of a capacity, and said that they observed that individual, the FBI saying that the dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22 that the individual ran across, set up, took the and I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage, and the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets. And he says, yeah, I saw the I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what looked like, and it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said, was he wearing jeans?
In addition, Candace also perpetuated the idea that there's a massive federal cover-up, with Tyler Robinson apparently being framed by the feds. She believes that Tyler is innocent and that the Trump administration fabricated the entire narrative, from the allegation that he wants to unalive himself to his father's supposed confession. Candace also questioned how Tyler Robinson was willing to turn himself in but did not confess, and she also questioned how the firearm belonged to Tyler, yet he is not an enthusiast, and she also said Tyler does not use words like vehicle as presented by his text messages. In fact, Candace also said Tyler's father does not even believe that his son did it. She actually also questioned the puzzling decision of the FBI to send their Connecticut agents to Utah, noting that the reasoning remains unclear. Then, she highlighted a concerning pattern among witnesses who readily recounted how Tyler Robinson was apprehended. All of them, she noted, have connections to law enforcement. In fact, Candace also claimed that her source told her that Tyler Robinson did not even set foot on the Utah Valley University campus. In addition, as it focused excessively on the details of who assisted in locating him and questioned why that person's identity was being kept secret, especially if they were a public figure. And if you ask her, Erika knows something. Anywho, what people have been saying is that something just doesn't sit right with Erika, and she went ahead and made things worse again when, in an interview with Fox News host Jesse Waters, Erika argued that media access should not be restricted during Tyler Robinson's court hearings, noting that cameras had covered every phase of the tragedy so far, including intimate moments of grief shared by her family and friends.
The defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
So, while we have people saying that indeed there needs to be cameras in the courtroom, there are others who are saying that there's just something off with Erika. Apparently, she's coming across as someone who wants trial to become a show so she can earn more money, and that transparency has nothing to do with it. Chill. If you ask me, the whole thing, especially the interaction with JD, is just messy. Like, beyond messy. Well, there are people also saying that they've seen Erika hug other people like that, and they think she's just a close hugger and that people are just reading too much into it. But what do you think? Do you think there's something going on between JD and Erika? Or do you see it happening in the future? Do you also believe that he might divorce his Hindu wife if she doesn't convert and marry Erika? Also, what are your thoughts on how Erika has been conducting herself since Charlie died? Drop those thoughts in the comments section below.